Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of October 25th through the 31st of 2021. All right, so this week we have the third quarter phase of the lunar cycle, which means that last week we had the full moon, which is likely where we came to some awareness, maybe made some shifts and changes along our life path. And now this week is very good to start to implement. The third quarter is a square between the sun and moon, which is about implementation, setting intentions, and taking action towards whatever those new insights were from last week. Now this week we do have a bit of mixed energy. On Tuesday, we have Venus squaring up to Neptune. So Venus represents our values and our relationships, and Neptune is the very dreamy and more inward energy. So there could be maybe some wanting to escape with the enjoyments of life, maybe relaxation or enjoyments, essential things, maybe some things involving relationships as well, or maybe some things uncertain with these matters. So very important to have faith and trust along the life journey when it comes to what we value. And a bit of healthy receptivity in our relationships can make it a great way of working with that Tuesday aspect. We do have a minor Venus sextile Jupiter on Thursday, benefiting those values and relationships. But then on Saturday, we do have the sun squaring up to Saturn. So Saturn is the more disciplined, sort of super ego part of ourself that wants to make sure we are doing things disciplined and taking time with matters. So anything on Saturday that maybe feels like a little bit of a delay or something that we do want to work hard towards for the long term, I think that's a great way of working with Saturday. Healthy discipline, healthy patience, and persistence can be a great way of working with that. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, October 25th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky, the actual size of the constellations. And so this does change the signs from mainstream astrology. If you do hear some of the sign placements are different, definitely check out that link down below for more information on using the actual sky called True Sidereal Astrology. All right, so let's go and do a little bit of a recap. Things are still very much steady moving forward. We've recently, since early last week, had a lot of the planets start to go direct. Mercury went direct early last week, Jupiter as well, Saturn the week prior to that. So we do have more of this forward-moving momentum, and I think it's a great week to implement that. Particularly in the context of Virgo, we still have the Sun, Mars, and Mercury here. Virgo is the improvement-oriented aspects of things. For the past month or so, it's been very good to have that improvement nature. So improving ourselves, personal development, our work, anything that does require that self-discipline or just a bit of that improvement nature is still very good to further develop while these planets do finish up this very large constellation of Virgo. And Venus has recently shifted into the healing constellation of Ophiuchus. So this, along with a lot of the aspects we have this week, are very much Venus related. Venus represents our values and our relationships. And I would say, with regardless of the actual aspects, which we'll get to in just a moment, Venus in Ophiuchus is fundamentally about connecting to life, to ourselves, and in our relationships in a deeper way, right? And in the Ophiuchus sense, it's in order to do healing. And so it's a great time of enjoying things that do involve healing, whether it's physical or spiritual, but also in the context of relationships. So in all of our everyday interactions, this is collectively a great time to see more of our shadow being reflected back to us through our interactions with others, which makes it, again, a great time to learn more about ourselves or our own wounds or the things we can heal within ourselves. But really, all of the one-on-one energy is just a great time of healing with others, especially if there's any joint intentions to do so. Great time for this kind of stuff. So bringing the deeper side of how we relate, and through our relationships, the deeper side of ourselves to the surface, so we can work with and heal these energies that maybe we've brushed under the rug, or we have some wounds about or some traumas about, that now Venus can help us reconnect with and benefit our relationships and also our values in life. And this will culminate into a transformation, which will be next week, when Venus does pass over the galactic center. This will be next week and the following week, and that can be very transformative. But between now and then, yeah, very good to get into that deeper side of our values and relationships at this time. So looking at the aspects here this week, it's a bit of a mixed week astrologically and pretty average in the sense of how many aspects that we do have. Now, breaking it down first for Monday, the moon will be finishing Taurus, the resourceful constellation, which we probably felt the energy from the weekend. Anything around connecting the more stable, steady, resourceful, or even just grounded or natural aspects of life is good for the early part of Monday, let's say. But Gemini will be the main theme for this early part of the week all the way through Wednesday. And so Monday through Wednesday, I would say, is great for learning, using our mind, getting into some of that practical energy, whether it's picking up that book, doing some studying, maybe some writing, but also just everyday communications. Gemini represents our peers, our siblings, those of equal status. And so anything like neighbors or anything like this, peers, great to connect with, share ideas with, and learn through others, and being willing to both give and take when it comes to exchanging. So great to do that kind of stuff there this early part. Now, as we do get to the later part of Tuesday, Venus will then start to square up to Neptune. So this is, again, adding to the watery energy. Ophiuchus is also water, Neptune is water. And in this sense, we start to come up to what is the more challenging energies of Neptune collectively. Now, Neptune is about fundamentally having more peace and faith and trust in our lives. And with a square up to Venus, sometimes it can mean fundamentally wanting to escape or hide away or getting caught up into some, fundamentally wanting more peace, but maybe there's some unhealthy ways of doing that. And in relationships, maybe wearing those rose-colored glasses or something like this. So good to stay nice and grounded when it comes to, again, those values and relationships, but nonetheless to really challenge ourselves to, again, have that faith and trust in the universal sense. Faith and trust that everything in the universe is unfolding in divine timing. How can we have more of this compassion and healthy receptivity in our relationships or dealings with others, right? Unconditionality, acceptance, right? Connecting on a more soul or spiritual level, deeply emotional level as well. All very constructively, right? But understanding we are under a bit of an influence collectively with this transit. So being aware of that and finding those healthy ways of both enjoying peace. Again, Venus is enjoyment. So enjoying the peace and healthy, rest and healthy ways of finding peace in life. And then also those healthy ways of connecting that are in our relationships that are maybe compassionate or receptive there constructively. And in this way, it's a great time for these kinds of activities with this Venus square. Now, once we start to get into the Thursday time period, the moon will go into Cancer just for this one day here, pretty much. And so Cancer is all about creating a protective environment. And so this can be for ourselves, great time of nurturing and caring for ourselves, maybe spending a little bit of time at home, something like this, but also for others, allowing that caring and nurturing side to come out towards others. And this is where we do come up to the third quarter phase of the cycle, this middle part of the week. And so very good to really start to, again, challenge ourselves. Any types of shifts of awareness that happened during last week's full moon on Wednesday, great to now implement, right? Anything we can do to challenge ourselves, implement, take action with, it's a great week to do so. Usually the third quarter is an easier integration time than the first quarter because we are quite seasoned in this cycle, right? This is the later part of the lunar month. And so we're usually willing to put in that action and initiative. But nonetheless, great to do that middle part of the week and maybe around this Thursday time period in the context of creating that protective environment for ourselves and others. Now, once we do get to the weekend, we'll have that long transit of Leo. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, moon in expressive Leo. Great weekend for a bit of that fun, playfulness, letting out that inner child a little bit, and just doing those things that are close to our heart and we're passionate about. So a bit of that fire energy can be very supportive. We will start to ease up off of that third quarter phase as well, gearing it for the ending phase of the cycle, which we'll feel the more ending energies of next week probably, but nonetheless starting to maybe set some intentions with closing things out and finalizing some things from this lunar month. All right, but the weekend we do have this, even though it is fire and there's a bit of that Leo expressive energy, there's a bit of that restriction to it because the sun rules Leo. It's very similar, rules our self-expression. And in this case, a square up to Saturn can be a little bit restrictive there. So maybe we're just feeling like maybe it's a good time to be productive. Maybe channel some of that creative energy or passion energy into some long-term things, into some productive things or career or work things, or things we know will take time, but we can put in that time, right? And so any intentions around patience, discipline, and responsibility make particularly Saturday a very constructive week. And if there is anything that maybe feels a little bit restrictive with what we're enjoying or expressing ourselves with, sometimes it's okay to, take a step back and be a bit patient with it and think long term with it. And that can be a great way of working with this Sun square Saturn. All right, and I didn't mention this little Venus sextile Jupiter. It's going to be midweek. It's nothing major, but there is some of this support for maybe learning, gaining higher insights, and enjoying a bit of free-spirited energy in the middle part of the week here around the, Thursday time period. But very minor. It's more of just an opening. We can choose or choose not to work with it. The main aspects will be these squares that we have early and later part of the week. Once we do get to the very late part of Sunday, Mercury will start to trine Jupiter going into next week. So we'll likely start to feel a bit of an open mind, maybe good for some of that higher learning, higher knowledge. This has been the now third contact with this recently since Mercury's been retrograde. And so nothing new here, but great to expand our perception on life, think big, maybe see some potentials, maybe discuss some higher things in our communications and learn. It's a good synergy between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, we could say, or left and right aspects of life, practical and abstract. Very good synergy for that late Sunday. All right, everyone. So that is the week in a nutshell. Most important thing is third quarter phase of the cycle. Great for implementation, integration, all in the context of any things that came to our awareness or we've wanted to implement since mid-time last week. We do have this Venus healing energy all week. Venus squaring Neptune, good to stay, again, present with our values and enjoyments and relationships, and just watch any extremes with that Neptune watery energy. We do have some enjoyments where it's a little bit easier there around the Thursday time to enjoy and connect. And then over the weekend, a bit of that responsible energy can really go a long ways. Anything we can set that intention with that does require patience and perseverance. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click this like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up, definitely check out the link down below on YouTube for MTZ Insiders. It is a newsletter where you do get these videos released first and also content that's not usually released on YouTube. But again, have a great one, everyone. Thank you again, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.